That door's banging, it's gonna bother me.
Surprise, bitch. I bet you thought you'd seen the last of me.
Hey guys, George Alexander here, and today we are watching The Crown Season 4, Episode 8. The last episode was a really good episode, I enjoyed it. It was a Margaret-centered episode. We got to see a little bit more about how she feels and how, you know, even though we see her as obviously, you know, the Queen's sister and things, that she felt like she was always, you know, the second best, and how it really showed about the difference in bloodline and how, you know, if you're not in the main succession for the line of the throne, you're sort of cast aside. And of course we learned they had cousins who were born with learning difficulties, and they were just like placed into like mental institutes and just left there. And it was really sad, you know, to see that sad, and it's something I didn't know about at all, so it was sort of interesting in that sense, but obviously sad that they'd just kind of been left that. And I said I would have liked Margaret to have visited them and seen them, but that didn't happen. But hey ho. Anyway, I'm really excited to delve into episode 8, so without further ado, let's go. Cape Town, South Africa, 1947. Ah, is this? I know that Claire Foy was back for a flashback. Is this the flashback? Oh, Claire! I miss Claire.
On this, the occasion of my 21st birthday,
With the better accent,
I
Claire.
welcome the opportunity
Olivia Colman
to speak
cannot
to
do
all
an
the
accent.
peoples of the British
all.
Commonwealth and Empire, wherever they live, whatever race they come from, and whatever language they speak.
Please
Is
welcome
that Margaret?
Margaret
Yeah,
Roberts.
Margaret Thatcher.
To accomplish that, we must give nothing less than what my father, King George, the first head of the Commonwealth, calls the whole of ourselves. Good evening. There is a motto which has been borne by many of my ancestors. A noble motto. I serve. I should like to make that dedication now.
She loves blue, doesn't she?
It's very simple.
Kind of wish we could have just kept Claire Foy going and just aged her. Bye, Claire.
South Africa. A frustration which threatens to strain her relationship with the Prime Minister, who the Queen holds personally responsible, and they'd like you, as Palace Press Secretary, to comment.
You should know better than to come to me with nonsense like that, sir. In the 33 years she's been on the throne, the Queen has never once expressed a point of view about her Prime Ministers. Positive or negative, and never will.
I came to tell you that I've decided to ask Edward to be my best man.
Not Charles.
No.
Oh, that will raise some eyebrows.
Good. Let him see what it
So
feels
easy
like to be
marrying
sidelined.
Fergie finally.
You know,
They got married in 80.
slim
But yeah,
down
86 they got married, didn't they?
Together, that's what he now thinks the future of the monarchy should be.
Nothing useful can be achieved by sanctions.
Really? It was my understanding they would devastate the South African government.
Well, they would devastate us too. Trade between our two countries is worth £3 billion a year.
I thought we might look at it from the South African point of view.
I am, ma'am.
There's a sovereign's duty when they are part of the Commonwealth.
Yes. The Commonwealth.
Yes, the Commonwealth.
She doesn't like the Commonwealth.
I recognize that for your family, the transition of this nation from empire to comparative supplicancy on the world stage must have come as a greater shock than to the rest of us. But I would argue that unreliable tribal leaders in eccentric costumes.
But isn't that all I am, Prime Minister? A tribal leader in eccentric costumes?
Certainly not. You're head of an evolved constitutional monarchy that stretches back to William the Conqueror. It's not comparing like with like.
Ah. What I would like you to do is sign that statement.
Damn.
If I didn't know better, that sounded very much like a directive.
Think of it as a question.
The jolly...
No.
Check.
They must be out of their minds. No.
Someone's in the thesaurus like this.
Definitely not. Yes, I think we can work with that.
Signals.
Yes, she agreed to signals. And among the signals she agreed to are actually several of the sanctions she would never have contemplated had they been called sanctions.
Did one person move to the 48, or did 48 move to 1? Yes, I agreed to signals. But as you know, with one simple turn, a signal can soon point in an entirely different direction.
Oh.
Thank you.
Oh, it's not a dirty word, Michael. You can really tell a story. I am wondering, have you ever considered a political thriller?
What?
The inner workings of Whitehall, Westminster, the palace. No one could write it better than you.
No. No, if this magnum opus doesn't work, I'll call it a day.
You could expose it all under an assumed name.
I could. But sadly, I'm old-fashioned and would never betray those confidences or the people I'm proud to serve. Something that would kill the gossip stone dead.
But what if I'm not happy with the job she's been doing? What if on this occasion I'd be happy for people to know the displeasure was actually real? That I am personally concerned about her lack of...
And risk doing serious and irreparable harm to the relationship between Buckingham Palace and Downing Street.
She doesn't seem to care.
Then today would not be the newspaper I would go to. And I want my objection noted.
Noted?
Noted, Martin.
It's noted. It's noted.
A constitutional crisis was on the verge of erupting this morning as the Sunday Times published details of a sensational rift between Buckingham Palace and Downing Street. This story, which is likely to have a serious impact on what have traditionally been cordial relations between the sovereign and her prime ministers.
I'm feeling something for the very first time. Something which I never imagined feeling.
What is that?
Impatience for our next audience.
Oh. I'm ready for this one.
To ask ourselves
Bigger questions.
some of the bigger questions. Woman to woman. We are the same age after all.
Really?
Just 6 months between us.
Oh? And who is the senior?
I am. Now,
Yeah.
my goal is to change this country from being dependent to self-reliant, and I think in that I am succeeding.
I have had to learn many difficult lessons as sovereign.
Britons are learning to look after number one, to get ahead, and only then, if they choose to look after their neighbor.
Of those...
No one would remember the Good Samaritan if he only had good intentions. You must be very much looking forward to the wedding tomorrow, Prince Andrew and Sarah Ferguson.
Yes, we are.
They seem like a good match.
Yes, we think so.
My own son, Mark, recently announced that he would be getting married.
Your favorite, the explorer?
Not an explorer, ma'am. That was just the once. He's a businessman now.
Bloody thoughtless of her, if you ask me.
Come on, you can hardly blame the newspapers for wanting to write about something other than the wedding of a fringe member of the family who'll never be king. Oh. Ouch. Well, it's true, isn't it?
You really just say that? On my wedding day?
That was impressively cunty.
Oh my god. Oh, yeah. I mean, you two are gonna get a divorce as well, so...
What?
A culprit. To deflect blame from you and to put these flames out ASAP.
Oh, and they're gonna give it to...
We need to let them have a name.
give it to Martin. Well, you better start writing your political thrillers. Because I don't think you're gonna have a job. I mean, that's a bit unfair. Like, I mean, I suppose that's the point, isn't it? Because she had an opinion, she's not allowed one.
A noble motto. I serve.
No, I don't.
I should like to make that dedication now. It's very simple. I declare before you all that my whole life, whether it be long or
will be
short,
dedicated to the
shall
Commonwealth.
be devoted to your service.
In 1994, apartheid fell and Nelson Mandela became the first black president of South Africa. God, I'm gonna cry. When asked whether sanctions helped bring an end to apartheid, he replied, "Oh, there is no doubt." Ah, whew. Okay. Okay, guys, so that was episode 8. Great episode, and obviously, a lot more of a political episode. You know, this was really about the relationship between Thatcher and the Queen, and gave us another insight into sort of the times as well. And you know, it's interesting because if you think maybe if Thatcher had come at a different time, you know, how different would her Prime Minister, you know, reign had been, you know, because obviously she was there during the issue of the Falklands and of course with the apartheid. So, you know, would their relationship still have been struggling if she hadn't have been there, you know, disagreeing with the situations that the Queen was agreeing with at that time. But brilliant portrayal for by Thatcher, by Gillian there, because she's only sort of been, I think this is one of the episodes, I know she was quite in episode 2 as well, but this is one episode where we got to see more of her, which I liked. Of course, this is of course The Crown, so it is really about the royal family, but it's nice to have those other characters, and of course it was great to see a bit more of, so the example like Michael Sheeran and how he played into the whole system. And because I was thinking at first when he came on, I was like, oh, I wonder what, you know, how what they're using him for, but obviously it was a big part of the story was that he was the one who took the fall for it all. But a really great episode, and it was great to see Claire Foy again. She's so good. I do still stand by the fact that she was a lot better than Olivia Colman. It just, the voice just worked so well, and the fact that she went from having literally the Queen's voice to then just Olivia Colman's voice as being kind of like a posh person's voice. I'm hoping Imelda Staunton can bring it back and give us the old you know, Wham voice for the Queen for the 90s, so we shall see. But a great episode, and of course we saw a little bit more of Sarah Ferguson there, and Andrew, and wow, from Charles when he said, oh, no one really cares about a fringe member of the royal family. You know, we've got William once, William has his kids, so you're really just not necessary at all. And then Edward's response was quite really funny, and Anne's just like, not getting involved, can't be bothered. But no, another great episode, and I can't believe I've only got 2 episodes left. What? Okay guys, thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please do not forget to like, share, comment and subscribe. All my social media in the description box below. And yeah, until next time, see ya.